I rise today to speak about the appropriation of funds towards the City Renewal Authority in this budget. The new City Renewal Authority oversees the revitalisation of areas of Canberra that the Chief Minister has deemed worthy of revitalisation. It's a month out from the 2016 election. The government announced it would divide the work of the LDA between two ACT public sector delivery entities, one focusing on leading and facilitating the redevelopment of Civic and the Northbourne Avenue corridor, to be called the City Renewal Authority, and the other dedicated to developing new suburbs, the Suburban Land Agency. My colleague Mr Coe and I have spoken considerably here in the Assembly on the integrity issues of the LDA, including the Auditor General's report, and I won't spend my time today talking about that. But I would like to remind the government of the importance of communication and consultation with the community, which appears to be a particular issue in planning, infrastructure and development. The introduction of the CRA is an opportunity for the government to correct the issues that the LDA faced. It's a good opportunity to focus the government's attention to the revamping of our city centre. The City Renewal Agency will be responsible for leading, managing urban renewal works in declared urban renewal precincts, the first of which has been declared encompassing Civic, Northbourne Avenue corridor, Hague Park and the West Basin City to the Lake project. Madam Speaker, in 2013, Madam Acting Speaker, the government undertook a consultation on City to the Lake project that included a new stadium, new 50-metre pool, apartments along the lake and a much-needed new convention centre. However, as time goes on, the current City to the Lake project that the CRA is to develop is looking less and less like the one that the Canberrans were consulted on. In June last year, the government downgraded the 50-metre pool to a smaller leisure pool and city beach at the lakeside. And in February, we shelved the convention centre, but then later backflipped on the promise of a new stadium. Madam Acting Speaker, we can see that in 2017 the City to the Lake project, which was once such a grand plan, has now become apartment blocks and a boardwalk. It's not to say that there's anything wrong with the change of plans. Plans do change, sometimes positively, but it just shows the difference between what was consulted on and what the community ends up getting. The government shouldn't be using a 2013 consultation on the grand design as an okay to implement a boardwalk and apartment blocks. I believe, Madam Acting Speaker, that the Hague Park Master Plan from 5 years ago, the draft, does provide a good opportunity for the government to show how serious the City Renewal Authority takes consultation. And Mr Coe has already spoken about that. But I do hope that the government will listen, reflect and take on board the submissions and opinions of the Canberra community and create Hague Park that is reflective of a vibrant, inclusive Canberra. I'd like to move on, Madam Acting Speaker, to talk briefly about in the City Canberra and the City Centre Marketing and Improvement Levy. In the City Canberra was formed and received appropriations from the ACT government for the first time in 2007-8, and that appropriation is raised through the City Centre Marketing and Improvement Levy. In the City Canberra was formed because it was felt by some traders that the government was not adequately completing the basic services that local businesses expected. And we've had much debate about, for example, bins in the newly reinvigorated Braddon precinct. In April this year, the government announced a review of the City Centre Marketing and Improvement Levy. And shortly afterwards, in the City Canberra were blindsided by this budget and the fact that after 10 years, the government is instead allocating those funds to the City Renewal Authority. To add insult to injury, during the estimates hearing, the government, when asked if they would use the City Centre Marketing and Improvement Levy to continue the work that in the City Canberra has been undertaking, refused to commit to it, leaving us to wonder how will that levy be spent. Madam Acting Speaker, the people of Canberra want a government that communicates with them, a government that will listen to them, and the government will speak to the average person on the street, not just their friends in the unions and the property industry. Government for too long has talked the talk but haven't walked the walk of consultation. The implementation of the City Renewal Authority is an opportunity for the government to take a step forward to communicate effectively. It's an opportunity the government must grasp with both hands. Good governance, Madam Acting Speaker, is only possible when politicians and policymakers actually listen to those on the ground, and the integrity issues that plague the LDA must be addressed so they cannot be repeated in the new agency. Madam Acting Speaker, we'll be listening to those on the ground, we'll be talking with people, and we'll be keeping a close eye on the City Renewal Authority as it rolls out.
The question is that the appropriation be agreed to. Those of that opinion say aye. Aye. The contrary, no. The ayes have it. This Community Services Directorate Part 1.7. The question is that the proposed expenditure be agreed to. Mr Gentleman.
Madam Acting Speaker, I move debate